Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another module. Today, we're going to be talking about your retargeting campaigns, how to basically go about setting these up, how to create your custom audiences, everything. Okay, so the itinerary for today, creating custom audiences, the only audiences that you need to even consider running on TikTok, and then, of course, retargeting campaign setup. All right, so creating custom audiences. So similar to Facebook, you need to create custom audiences based on the current data that you've accumulated in order to retarget your audiences. So you can either create your custom audiences right within the ad campaign itself on the ad group level, or you can do this by going into your assets tab, clicking assets, going to audiences, and then create audience. Okay. Very, very simple. We'll break this all down for you inside of TikTok as well too. So in order to create a custom audience within your ad, you'll need to scroll down to audience on the ad group level and then click the page with the plus sign toggle. So that basically is this little sign right here. You can do either or. You can either go into your assets tab or within the ad itself, you can basically do this. It's very, very simple. It'll make more sense when I actually show you guys. Okay, so the custom audiences that you need to utilize. So based on what sort of ads that you've been running and how much traffic has come to your website, I highly recommend retargeting these audiences. So there's a bunch of different audiences. Again, we will get into this. But in terms of the audiences that I highly recommend, the engagement audience based off of clicks for 180 days, video views at 50% for 180 days. And then, of course, within website traffic, you want to select the pixel event on your VSL page within 180 days, okay? So not the opt-in page, but the VSL page. So make sure when you're retargeting this audience, you send them directly to the VSL page, okay? So they've already opted in, so there's no reason to send them to the opt-in page again. So if you, obviously in your most of your top of the funnel campaigns, unless you're split testing something, most of them you're driving your traffic to an opt-in page, right? In the retargeting process, there's no reason for you to send them to an opt-in page anymore because they've already opted in, especially if you're retargeting the pixel event that is your VSL page, because again, the only way to get there is by someone opting in, okay? So you don't want them to go through more unnecessary steps and create more friction if you don't need to, all right? Now, in terms of the retargeting campaign setup, it's very, very easy. Create a campaign, label it properly with, retargeting, just mention it's retargeting, and then call it agency leads or agency lead gen, whatever you feel like. In terms of your ad group labeling, you can call it, your audience name and then dash the locations that you're targeting. So like, the US, Canada, Australia, whatever you feel like. And then utilize your custom audiences that you've built. You can separate your custom audiences in individual ad groups, or you can stack them together. I would recommend split testing this just because, especially on TikTok, it is a little bit different from Facebook, where things in terms of your CPMs and your click-through rate can fluctuate a little bit. So it is good to kind of have it split tested. In terms of a budget, exact same as Facebook and Instagram. Have it at about 20% on what you're spending on your cold traffic. Okay, so if you're spending $100 a day on cold, spend $20 a day on retargeting. Okay, now let's dive into my TikTok Ads Manager because I want to show you guys exactly what to do. Okay, so if you click Create a Campaign, it's going to bring you here. We're going to want to click Website Conversions. We'll call this Targeting, Agency Leads. Continue. Then ad group name, you'd label whatever you need to. Come here, select Pixel, Optimization Event. Going for Contact. You always want to make sure the optimization event is what you're optimizing for, okay? So this is not referring to what audience you're trying to target, right? Now, placements, obviously just TikTok. Custom targeting, yes. Now, if you continue scrolling past demographics, you're gonna wanna come down here. Audience, here you go. So include, so search or select an audience, okay? So this is where you will actually be able to create your custom audience. So come in here. It's going to open up this tab for you. And basically once you're here, this is basically like just being in the asset side, right? You're going to create an audience. You can also create your lookalike audiences here. You're going to go to custom audience. And now for your engagement or your website traffic, these are the two, okay? So you have your engagement and then you have your website traffic. Now, if you have a really strong TikTok page as well too, just before I dive into the engagement and website traffic, if you have a good TikTok page and you have maybe 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, and it's very niche, you have people following you that are in your target audience, you can also use business account, okay? What business account basically allows you to do is create a list of people who followed or interacted with your business account on TikTok, all right? Again, my personal profile, I believe at the time of recording this, I have like 50,000 followers on TikTok. It's all very niche towards like agency owners, coaches, e-commerce brand owners, things like that. So in my case, I'm happy to utilize this. That's a good enough audience for me to make those like retargeting touching points. Okay. I would not, the thing with like this side though is you need a good sized audience. I wouldn't recommend doing this if you have like a smaller audience, unless you're maybe just doing something very, very high ticket where, you only need like a few leads to, close like 10K or 25K worth of sales. Okay. So just make sure that like, the main two that you're going to be using is engagement and website traffic. All right. So for instance, we can try out engagement. So all you basically need to do is you click all ad groups, all ad types, video ads. So this is where you can basically select, what kind of ad that you're kind of like retargeting them on. Video ads, action. And then for instance, for video views at 50%, you click that. In the past days, you can do 60. You can do pretty much any single one of these options. I just always recommend, keep it at 180 days, just because again, you're not spending so much on ads where, your retargeting sort of system and your process becomes super complicated. Maybe if you're spending a lot of money on ads, that's where you can start to include like certain retargeting videos for certain audiences at 25% to 100% to the clicks, all these different things, right? So you can see here, these are all the different types of actions that you can basically retarget on people in terms of engagement. Okay, so you have click, impression, 2-second video view, 6-second video view, 6-second views, 15-second views, and then video views from 25% all the way to 100%. Okay, and then you have different timelines in which you can target. Now, very, very easy. You can also add in rules. You don't necessarily need to do that. Okay, unless again your retargeting strategy becomes very granular. Okay, and then you'll come in here. You'll name the audience. Very simple. Refresh your audience automatically to view the latest user data. You're always going to want to toggle this on. And then confirm. And then once it's confirmed, you select that audience and you're basically good to go. Okay. Now that was for engagement. We can try website traffic now. Again, very simple. So now you can retarget traffic based off of the different events that you have on your pixel installed into your ClickFunnels. Okay. So for this instance, I believe it is page view or submit form, but basically whatever my VSL page would be, I would go to that one. Actually, no, it's view content. So view content, I would click there and I'd select 180 days through the following pixels. I select the pixel that I'm running it on, name the audience, and you're good to go. Okay. So it's very much that simple. Now, make sure again, you're going to adjust the timeline to, run the ad at 12 in the morning on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Like I had mentioned in previous modules, I don't personally, for me, this is like personal experience. I don't like running ads on a Thursday or Friday. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like, old myths that I used to hear and stuff. I don't personally like running ads heading into the weekend because I tend to see that not a lot of people engage on the weekends unless it's an older demographic. Okay. Younger demographics, like in their 20s, they're all partying. You know what I mean? So again, that's what I would recommend. Okay. So on that, in terms of budget, like I mentioned, 20% of what you're spending on retargeting is based off of what you're spending on cold. So if you're spending $100 on cold traffic, spend $20 on retargeting. Okay. That is literally it for setting up your retargeting campaigns on TikTok. I know it's very, very, very simple. But just to leave you guys with some action steps here, bring you over to this page. So in terms of action steps, okay, build out your custom audiences. It's very simple. Like I had mentioned, you can do this in two ways, either on the ad view when you build a campaign, or just by going straight into your assets, clicking audiences, and then just creating all of your audiences that are preset. Create your retargeting campaign and then launch your retargeting campaign. Very, very simple. Okay. In the later modules, I'm actually going to show you guys on the ad level how to upload your videos, how to adjust everything with retargeting, what some really cool things that you can do with Spark ads, which is awesome, especially if you're someone that has a really good and decent following on TikTok, and you have maybe videos on your TikTok that you're trying to promote or that resonated really well and you're trying now to like retarget to people or you're trying to utilize as your ad creative. We'll get into that. Okay. So that is basically how to set up your campaigns on the campaign level and the ad group level. Later modules, we'll talk about the ad creatives and copy side of things. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. If you guys have absolutely any questions, please drop your questions in the Discord. Happy to help you guys out. You can either take me, my CMO, or my COO, Daisy or Pedro. We're happy to help you guys out. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you guys in the next module.